in, everyone, to the Let's Just Talk Drones tonight. There was no Fly for Fun show tonight. I think Bill Thomas had something to do. There was actually Herman and Lawrence went live for a few seconds today, but they said they wasn't having a show. So I figured we go live, talk about drones, kind of catch up with the latest news. Welcome in Marcus and Mr. John Flynn. Hey, guys, I want to say one thing and one thing only. No politics whatsoever. You want to say I can't fly, you want to say I'm bald-headed, you want to say I'm a crappy editor, that's all fine. But if you say anything about politics, you will get booted. That's just so, let's leave it right there on the table. Mr. Flynn and Marcus, yes, how are y'all doing tonight?
Good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's I'll tell you what, we got a little storm come through here a while ago. Of course, now the sun's back out. And Marcus, I know you're in the heat.
Johnny, right after you and I talked, this is no joke, right after you and I talked, a freaking thunderstorm rolled through here. And I mean, it was like a waterfall. And it was the first rain we've had in weeks.
Wow. I guess we'll let Barkley say, since I said you could say that, of course.
Yeah. Can't fly if you're bald-headed.
No, hey guys, you know what? It's been a busy week. The week flies by. I know, doing the Fly for Fun show every other week. So I was talking to Marcus early, and hey, we figured we'd go live, talk a little bit about drones. And guys, I was thinking a while ago, maybe put in the chat there. When did you start your YouTube channel? I realized I started mine in 2019. I know, Marcus, you've been doing it a long time, right?
Oh, gee whiz. 2006 or 7.
Oh wow!
Maybe
okay,
even longer than that. Yeah.
Holy
yeah,
God.
Yeah, a long time ago.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
When did you do your lawnmower video?
That was 2013.
Okay.
And that lawnmower, it's hilarious. That lawnmower is still going strong. I mean, this is no joke. It's just
Maddie.
like it was brand new.
Maddie.
What's up, guys?
Now, and Marcus, it's funny how, we talk all the time on about, I know Matty he's not posting a lot right now, but the shorts, even sometimes your videos, you think you got a great video or something. Sometimes you get a lot of views. Sometimes, of course, you always get views. You got a lot of subscribers, but, hey, guys, Aldrin said that at the spin up that year we went, he said, just post your stuff. And hey, it's fun to post. A lot of us, I know we do it for our families and friends. I mean, we do it for each other here, but, just have fun with YouTube and don't let it dominate your life. I know, Marcus, you get some comments. I was reading something. Somebody said something today on, I think Kelly Shores put a little video and somebody started, or was it Russ? Who was that?
No, it was Kelly about the person that says, hey, I really don't like your channel, but, and then asked him a technical question.
Yeah, I mean, listen, guys, and I think I will say, and Matty knows, Matty helped me with a little problem with my FPV drones. I know Koopy there's so many people that will help you do different, so many aspects of the drone. Sometimes shooting the footage is the easiest part, getting it from your drone to your computer and the editing and the sound. There's just so much to it. It's a lot more than just shooting a video sometimes.
The edit. Man, I'll tell you what, you can go down that rabbit hole forever.
Mr. Bob Casey, welcome in. Sunstar, who else we got in here? Brian, Barkley, Hike and Fly, Randy, Dusty. It's Dosty.
Dosty. He changed his name.
V-Dub.
I like it.
Warren is in here. Ronnie, God bless America. Hey, welcome in, guys. We just thought we'd talk. We got looks like, Matty, I know, have you been catching up a little bit? You see the pictures of the, say, Air 3S or the Air 4?
I did. Is it an Air 3S or is it an Air 4?
Well, we don't know, but I got a question for you, Matty. What is that sensor on the front of that thing? What could that be?
I don't know. I saw that. I couldn't figure it out either.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Let's see here. I think I got it.
So now here's what would be pretty cool. Is if it had something to do that would help the drone track better. That would
is that showing? You talking about right here in the center?
Yeah, right there. Yeah, right where you had your cursor, right there.
I mean, I don't know, man. That is you can't figure it out.
Yeah.
You could be some enhanced, obstacle avoidance or tracking.
That's kind of what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
Although listen, I say things like that, but how often do you really use tracking? It's fun. It's a fun trick, but how often do you really?
Now this is a different. I mean, I guess, God, man, look at the size of that camera there, Matty. Have you saw that?
There's your Mavic 4 right there.
Mavic 4.
Man, so we got a little. We got a lot coming out. It seems like
They're getting them in quick. They're getting them in quick before they lose the states.
Yeah, two action cameras. It looks like 2 action cameras. So are we looking at affordability for, say, the Air 3 or Air 4 or Air 3S, and I say non-affordability for that Mavic 4? I mean,
that's my guess. They're pushing the Mavic 4 up the food chain a little bit, and then the Air series is the bread and butter for consumers like us.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Agree with that.
Bill, welcome in.
The Mavic 4, I think, is going to be for the the high end or professional,
semi-pro, right?
Semi-pro.
Yeah.
So Marcus, let me ask you this, and I know you and I get picked on. You get picked on about buying every drone. Would you buy the Mavic 4, or I'm not.
Okay. I'll tell you, Johnny.
We finally reached the plateau where Marcus Crawford might not buy a drone.
Two things: price, right? If it's $4,000, man, what you would take a lot to justify that kind of expenditure, right?
Yeah, no, I agree.
But I'm not saying I wouldn't, depending on the features, right? If it had something on there that just lit my fire and I thought that was the coolest thing since sliced bread, maybe. So 2 things: features and price are what's going to make that decision.
Yeah. I just don't know.
Manny, will you send Joe Fotoleo the link?
Yeah.
All right.
I just don't know what they could. They always come up with something, right, on a new model. But what is it going to be?
We're all saying that.
I mean,
well, clearly, looking at that gimbal, we've all wanted a real telephoto lens and a real zoom lens,
optical zoom, right?
Optical zoom, and it is not that. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah, but Marcus, it's been a long time. I know we've been in it a long time. You've been in it, but like you say, I've never bought the Mavic 3, but of course, hey, you and I know we missed the price of a bicycle quite a bit. We were thinking $3,000, $3,500.
A lot of people did.
Yeah, but so could we miss this by maybe there'll be 2 versions, just like everything else.
You're talking about the Mavic 4?
Oh, yeah, the Mavic 4.
Yeah, well, I've been willing to bet that there probably is. In other words, just like with the Mavic 3, could there be a Cine version?
Right.
For the really higher? Yeah, there very well could be. Again, it just depends on features. The sweet spot, I think, is going to be that Air 4 or Air 3S or whatever it is.
Chris Hope, welcome in. Chris, welcome in. I see you.
Chris,
Bill.
Good evening.
Yeah, but you know what? We finally, I don't know. We'll see. Just like John said, they always come up with something, and now, of course, we talk about a Marcus on Drone Nation. We were surprised by the price of the Avata too. So maybe we'll be surprised a little bit. Maybe we're overshooting it. I don't know.
I hope so.
That would be a good thing. Yeah.
That when we talk about particularly that Air series of drones, what people are missing with a Mini, and I love my DJI Minis, so don't get that wrong. But like that Air 3, when I was at the Oregon coast, I could fly that drone wherever I wanted to fly it. I had no signal issues. It would get there at 50 miles an hour, or not quite, 47 miles an hour. It would get where I wanted to place the drone and get some good video. So there's something to be said for that. And I don't know how to me, there's just, other than the Mavic 3 and the and the Air 3, I don't know of any other drones that can do that.
Matty,
whether it's an Autel, whether it's
right. Matty, what's one of the features you think? Do you think we were talking about it the other night? What do you think it would have different, or what would be your opinion?
The only thing I would care about is the camera. That's all I ever do care about. 3/4 of the time, people don't use their full potential on those drones anyways. I don't. I know that. I don't use any of the features on it. None of the quick shot, master shots, none of that stuff.
Right.
So.
Right. Same here.
Right.
I love that stuff.
Yeah, they're fun to use and they're fun to watch the outcomes of them. But yeah, I always just pick up the thing and fly manual and just fly. I'm talking about a camera drone, just fly.
Joe knows how to fly a camera drone.
Yeah, I know it's been a minute, but yeah.
You
I
even
haven't
have
flown
a
an
camera
Autel
drone.
Light Plus in forever.
So Matty, you do a little real estate, right?
I have, yeah.
If I was doing real estate, man, why wouldn't I use those master shots to get a bunch of aerial shots of that house, and then you edit it into whatever it is that you want? I don't know, man. It looks to me like
it would work.
You can do an orbit way better than I can manually.
I always get the guy that wants just photos.
Yeah.
So I get stuck with just photos. I don't do anything.
Yeah, you're right though, Marcus. It's definitely the way to do it. Just set it on master shots and let it do it and cut it up the way you want. But I just never think of that. I just pick up the sticks and get what I want.
Yes,
probably not as good as the master shot.
And then when you see somebody do it, it's go like, "Hey, I got the same drone. I just never do that."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The one that gets me is the Helix. Have you ever tried to do that manually?
No. That's a pretty tough one to do manually. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It definitely is. Coming in, swooping in and down a little easier than I think swooping back and up.
Right.
Uncle Bill, thanks for hopping
complicated.
in. So, Marcus, do you do everything in auto pretty much, or do you fool with the settings?
Dr. Otto.
Yeah, and
now, listen. So people give me a hard time because I use the graph. What do you call it? The
histogram.
Histogram.
Right.
And they say, well, why do you use the histogram if you're in automatic? Well, you know what? Then I can tell when part of it is blown out, and maybe I will adjust the EV.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the limit of what I do, unless I'm trying to do something specifically with an ND filter or something. ND filter, I'll go into manual to messing around to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But normal flying, most of my flying, automatic.
And John Flynn, you do the same in auto, and then you kind of correct some stuff in post?
I do auto on Mavic 4 just because I like the color science. I mean, it's one less thing to mess around, but I do occasionally fly in D-Log, like on the Air 3, just to, experiment with it. But
Gotcha.
I've got a long ways to go on color grading, so anything I usually put out is usually, shot in auto. Or the pro settings. So.
John, let me tell you what. Every picture you post, every video you post is just a visual treat. It just is.
Well, I tell you what, it's amazing. People worry about getting, the perfect shots and the perfect videos, but a lot of times you're putting it up on Facebook and, and YouTube even will butcher your shots. So I see my stuff up on Facebook, and I'm never real thrilled with the quality, but I think
Facebook in particular, they butcher it. Yeah.
So, but thank you, Marcus. It's I've learned a lot from everybody in the community. I mean, just so much talent that's out there too.
Yeah, and everybody's so willing to help too. That's one good thing. I know. Hey, Mr. Photo Leo, tell us about the FPV Palooza that went on this past weekend. Catch us up.
Yeah, it was a good time, man. Got there Friday. You guys remember Friday was the day the whole something strike. What was it?
Yeah, the Sliber, whatever it was.
Yeah. Of course, the day of travel for so many people head to Chicago. What's that?
Counter-Strike. Oh no, that's
a game. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah. So anyway, I was only delayed maybe 2.5 hours, not too long. So I got into Chicago about 6:30, and got on a train and grabbed an Uber and got over to the Brew Garden for a little meet up beforehand, and on Friday evening, and then Saturday was the event. It was an awesome time, man. It was gates set up and a lot of freestyle flying, and I actually won the intermediate level freestyle competition. So that was humbling.
Good deal, yeah.
And good buddy.
Joe was the only one in the intermediate.
yeah. Out of 2 people, I took first place. No, I think there was about 7 or 8 in the intermediate. So I was happy to take that. There was 3 in the pro, and Justin Twisted Skies, he took first place on the pro level. So that was cool. And then Michael P. Sullivan took first place in the beginner level. Airframe FPV, I think is this channel. Airframe FPV.
Joe, how many people did y'all have, Joe, about? I mean, what y'all?
I'd say probably 40, 35 to 42, somewhere in that range with family members.
That was the third year, I think.
It was the second one in Chicago, but it was the third, I think, event because last year was Eagle River, Wisconsin. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tom, welcome in. I see Tom's in the chat here.
It was a lot of fun, and then Sunday we all just kind of split up, and everybody just go tour Chicago and fly where you want. So many of us went to, I'll say 8 or 10 of us went to an abandoned mall. Forget the name of it, Stanton Mall or something like that. So, good little spot, and we got to do some ripping around, and then flew home Monday.
You had great weather too.
Yeah.
Oh, the weather was amazing. It was like 78 for the high, 65 for the low. It was great. It was beautiful weather. Northerners, there's a couple of people from Green Bay and other parts of Wisconsin like, whoo, it's hot. I'm like, like, yeah, come on down to Houston. I'll show you hot.
I think Morgan's been having us beat lately, man. I tell you what, it's been pretty warm where you at, right, Morgan?
106 today.
Wow. Holy crap.
Yeah, we've been in the 80s, high 80s or low 90s because we've been cloudy for about a week now.
Yeah, it's been rainy and cloudy here for a week. Of course, I missed the weekend of it, but it's been nasty. It's supposed to be all the rest of this week. It's supposed to be nasty.
Yeah, that's what they say.
I got roof inspections to do, roof installs to schedule, and I'm getting just held up, man.
Down here right now is 97.
Yeah, I don't feel sorry for you, Joe. I'm going to be out at the drag strip all day Friday on the hot tarmac.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm a judge at a car show on Saturday. So.
Oh man.
Well, do you take bribes for the car show? I'm just asking.
You know, I've thought about that.
So, Maddie's getting up.
I'm here.
So Maddie, I know you've been doing some RC cars, so tell us what you got going.
It's a nightmare right now. I've got 3 of them down. Broken parts, man.
It's kind of like drones, but
beating the crap out of them, jumping them 15 feet in the air. Yeah, it's a lot of fun though. I've got 4 of them down here right now.
I know Marco and Al Duran. Who else? There was probably 3 or 4 cars at the spin up there that year.
Look at that, yeah.
Wow.
You got FPV cameras on them, Matty, or you just line of sight?
I have a frame that I took the legs off of that has a Vista in it, and it's got 2 screws on the bottom of the frame, and I have 2 holes mounted on every canopy of these trucks, and it mounts to the top of it, and then I can drive it with the goggles.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Now all you need is a 3D printer. What else? The 3D printer, drones, and the RC trucks.
This woman's not ready to walk out the front door on me. I am not getting a printer.
When you jump those things real high, do you need to put a tail number on them and get your part 107?
Yeah, right. But there's an art to it, which I never knew, is I could flip them in the air just like quads do when you fly them. All depends on throttle and reverse brake controller.
Centrifugal force of the wheels will spin you faster or slow you down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Marcus, you got to try that at the drag strip. Do some
flips. Yeah, no, thank you.
No, you're not going to go airborne?
Slide down.
So Marcus, are you racing this weekend, or are you just
racing on Friday? Yeah,
I got you.
And then there's a car show that a buddy of mine wrote me in to be in the. I get to be the Corvette judge. So.
Okay, hey, nothing wrong with that.
Very cool.
You know a thing or two, don't you?
A couple things.
One or two.
I could tell a C1 from a C8. Yep.
Yeah.
He's gonna pick a blue car will win it though. I'm just telling you.
You know, I that particular show when those C8s were new, that same guy asked me, because I want your car in the car show. So I did put it in there because, at first, like everything else, when a new model comes out, it looks like a spaceship and everybody, wants to see it. But yeah, now they're old hat.
You know what's funny? I got 3. I mean, Marcus, you and I have 2 other friends here that have the same blue car. Well, I mean, they have blue Corvettes. It's weird, It's a beautiful. It really is a beautiful car.
You know those Tesla Cybertrucks? You can't go to a freaking parking lot around here anymore without seeing 2 or 3 of them.
I've never seen one.
Yeah.
I've seen maybe 4 or 5 of them now
They're
on the
so
road or
ugly.
parked somewhere. But yeah, they're hideous in my
So
opinion.
ugly.
They are. They look. They look as dumb in real life as they did in pictures, don't they?
Oh
You know,
man.
they're bigger. They're huge. You know, like you see
Oh,
them
yeah,
in person, like wow, that thing is monstrous.
How you
It's a
doing, Tom?
refrigerator with wheels.
Yeah,
There you go.
exactly.
There you
Yeah,
go.
my
You
daughter
can say
sent me a
Havana
picture.
on the side.
I never
frigid
seen
air.
one. I never seen one, but my daughter sent me a picture. They were in Savannah this weekend, and they parked right next to one. But that's it's I never seen one in person.
Yeah.
They're everywhere around here.
Really?
Yeah, I saw one that's already been totaled.
Oh no.
Oh, that's it.
Sitting on the side of the road. Yeah,
Looks
somebody T-boned it.
like a
Oh,
Brillo
wow.
pad or something. I guess I don't.
It took a big hit on the B pillar, and I think it cracked the chassis.
Mm.
Wow.
So that's a 110K total right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Are they
I've seen
only
them. I've
110?
seen-
I thought they were more than that.
Well, it depends on when you got your order in, Joe.
Yeah, do that.
But
Yeah, I was saying
I've
that
seen
a windshield
several
wiper
now.
was $7,000 or something for a windshield wiper.
The thing is like 4 feet long, that damn wiper. Okay. But I've seen a couple of them out here that they've skinned them already.
That's what's a lot. Most of them that I see have a wrap on them.
Putting a wrap on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a black one on the road.
There you
It
go.
was-
There you go,
It's
Marcus.
better.
Idaho
Yeah.
quadcopter
What?
truck, Tesla truck.
Yeah, all you got to do is put that company name on the side and then try to get Uncle Sam to write it off with it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's a Section 179 write-off, isn't it?
There you go. There you go.
I'm happy
Yeah.
with my brand new $25,000 truck. My little Maverick.
Yeah, hey.
You see a lot of those on the road now too.
You can buy 5 of my trucks for that
Yeah.
Cybertruck. Bam.
I tell you,
It looks a little better too.
Yeah.
my Tundra was 80 grand. It's crazy.
Oh
It's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
Tom, what's going on out in Vegas? The heat, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, what's a little bit of heat amongst friends, I mean, only it's what almost 6 o'clock, and it's only 108 degrees, so it's not bad.
No, that's not bad at all.
20% humidity. I think what it is you don't actually bake when you go outside; you actually shrivel up. Okay, it's so
You
damn
cook from
dry
within.
here. But it was wild. I picked up a friend. We always do this. People come to Vegas, and we just ask them, what day do you want us to kidnap you off the Strip? And then we try to show them the rest of the valley. We went up to Mount Charleston on Monday. It was 106 on the Vegas Strip. We went up to Mount Charleston, and it was 61 degrees.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
beautiful.
And that's a 1 hour drive. That's all
Wow.
it is. A 1 hour drive away.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
So
1 hour, 60 miles and 40 degrees. That's not bad.
yeah. And about 7,000 feet difference.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's what makes the difference.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Going way up.
Like anything else, you get used to things. Like I could not when I went back to New York City 3 weeks ago, I could not get used to the humidity. I really couldn't. I mean, it was 80 degrees and like 70% humidity.
Mhm.
I couldn't deal with it.
Yeah.
So this, you get used to it, just like anything else.
Yeah.
Hey Tom, so I heard there were some big planning meetings going on for the Vegas meetup. Any leaks? Any secrets you can tell us?
Sure. Our platinum sponsor is DJI.
Nice.
DJI has come through with a huge monetary donation and plus several $1,000s worth of merchandise.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay,
Wonderful.
and they're one of several sponsors at this point. Greg and his whole team are coming up
Oh
from
wow.
Prescott, Arizona. He's bringing the whole team up
Wow.
from Pilot Institute. Plus, he's giving away numerous Part 107 courses. So that's a nice thing. We met today with second round with Henderson Parks and Recreation. And now they are co-sponsoring the event with us.
Huh. Wow.
Okay. So, and plus Bob and I worked out a side gig with them. We're probably going to be doing, after school programs and summer camps to expose some of the kids to droning.
Oh, very cool.
So that's a big thing. I've already been doing some of that with one of the guys out here, Vaughn Haya, who's from the Red Rock Search and Rescue. We go around and we lecture on the STEM programs at the various charter schools. So we're just, expanding that. Plus, we're going to try to get the drone soccer people involved also to get them maybe to stage an event. And we have FPV racing on that Sunday at one of the local parks as well. So we got a lot of balls up in the air right now, but it's coming together. So we're thrilled about it. A lot of work.
Yeah.
Which Johnny, that whole South Florida drone meetup, you guys that are involved in that, man, we learned a lot from you guys. But you know what, Maddie, it's about the community. That's the big thing we've been promoting. And, that was one thing that when we were talking to Henderson Parks today, they were like, well, this is a great thing, to get together, because we're going to have media coverage. We have some legislators coming in, maybe even a senator might wind up being there. And we have a couple of legislators that want to fly a drone. And what better way to, I don't mind being a crack dealer. Okay. I'll turn you on to a drone.
Are you inviting your senator from New York?
No, I don't think she'll be available.
She probably wasn't invited.
I think she's going to be stuck swimming behind a ferry there anytime now. Okay. Yeah.
Hey, Tom, that drone soccer is funny because you mentioned that, but I got a call from a girl who runs she works at our recreation park over here. They got a call about that league or something, possibly renting a space. And she called me because she was the only person I knew that flew drones. So are they going around the country doing this, or is that?
Yeah, actually, Johnny, it's like basically two spurs. Basically what it is they started a professional league. Okay. And they also use it for STEM education. Now the ones they use for STEM, they're much smaller. So they're basically in a cage.
Right. I saw that
I have something
when Bob had done that.
Yeah, no, all I have is the thing on there, student briefing and all. Yeah, they have a really nice little setup that's basically a 10 by 20, pop-up thing with netting on it and with the various targets. And basically you have one offensive player on each team and two defensive players.
Yeah.
And you're basically you bounce into each other and keep each other out of the net. Now, when they have the pro version, they are much bigger, much faster.
Right.
And I believe it's five individuals on each team. So
very
interested in seeing it. Yeah. Yeah. It's something that can be set up really quickly. So we have that going on, and we have Metro PD, Las Vegas, and Red Rock Search and Rescue are also participating in our meetup. So they're going to be putting on demos and showing how drones benefit. And the other thing is Metro PD is one of the biggest users of counter UAS. So they'll be talking about that as well and showing some of the equipment that's used. And they know the great thing about it is they know we're not the enemy.
Yeah.
So,
good deal.
Hey, I got it. You just touched on something, Tom, and hopefully I don't get down too much of a rabbit hole here, but I read an article in Wired the other day, and they were talking about, I think it was in California or maybe Texas, but they were talking about a PD that had a drone program, and all of these people were so mad because police drones were flying around in the sky and above their house, and they were afraid they were spying on them. Man, I don't get it.
That Marcus, I can
like such a great way to police.
So Marcus, I can tell you from firsthand experience, when I was building out the drone program at the FDNY, my counterparts in NYPD were trying to do the same thing. Okay. But they kind of run amok of their own environment sometimes. So what we did immediately upon securing drones was I skinned those drones to make sure they were clearly identified as FDNY drones. I mean, even to the point where the first few drones we skinned in red and made them look like fire trucks. We had logos on them, the whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then we got the Boston Dynamic dog. I think you guys are all familiar with the Boston Dynamics robotic dog, right? Well, what we did was we skinned it to look like a Dalmatian. Okay? So now NYPD gets theirs the same week we got ours. But what did they do? They took theirs to one of the worst tenements in New York City, Queensbridge Projects in Long Island City, Queens. And they had it march around the various floors in the projects in the tenement. And of course, that doesn't go over well with the residents. Okay. And of course, right away, the ACLU gets involved. Yeah. And now our SOP for operating the drones is close to 200 pages. Okay.
Wow.
Theirs is closer to 1,000 pages.
Wow.
When they can, what they have to collect, how long they can retain it for, how it has to be purged. If it contains X, Y, or Z, then it has to be turned over to this oversight group, the whole thing. It's it really is a monumental task to fly a drone on the police side of the fence. I agree with you. I think the way a lot of departments are looking to go is they're looking to go for the drone in the box on top of the police station. Call comes in, that drone can take off and can go give them some situational awareness before they arrive on scene.
More instantly, right?
Right.
You know, one of the most dangerous things being a cop is not the shootouts. It's the driving to the calls.
Yeah.
Yep.
Puts you at the highest risk, right? Getting from point A to point B without killing yourself or killing others. Right. And that's why I think these drone programs are great, because you can get that drone up, get some situational awareness, and then either slow it down or speed it up on your response.
If you've got somebody on foot, super easy to chase them or figure out. They're not going to be able to hide. They're not. Somebody in a car saves you from being able to do, like you were talking about, those high-speed chases that are so dangerous. Hey, you just follow them and see where they're going, then.
But the difference, Marcus, between a manned aviation program and an uncrewed aviation program, I mean, you're talking about pennies on the dollar, right? Right. And most departments don't have access to a budget to support manned aviation helicopters.
Right.
Okay. Usually they're when they do get involved, it's usually a mutual aid program where they're sharing one helicopter across numerous jurisdictions.
Right. Yeah.
And then who has the pecking order there? You know, it's never where it needs to be when it's needed.
Right.
So in this case, you know, you're talking about $10,000 an hour to operate a helicopter versus your cost of admission to buy a drone.
Yeah. My other point is, I could give a damn if a police helicopter is flying over the top of my house. What are they going to see? My dead grass in the backyard? I mean, I don't. It's just not anything that I would ever even think about or worry about in the smallest way.
Right, I would agree, man.
Over that,
but you're not doing anything nefarious. Those out there that might be, you know, grow ops or whatever, you know, like, oh shit, what's this drone doing overhead, you know? So yes, and I think Joe, everyone here on the panel is like not worried about that. You know what I mean? But
checking out folks out there, yeah, you know.
Joe, we've named these people the squad. We used to call them the squad. What's going on? You know, so you know, we would have this all the time. I'd be operating at the scene in Manhattan, and people coming out of the subway and walking up to me and going, what's going on? What's going? And I used to always tell them, we're shooting a movie, and we need extras. Walk over to that cop there in the white shirt, which would have been a lieutenant or a captain. Walk over to him, give him your name, tell him you're interested in signing up. And then about 10 minutes later, the captain would walk over to me and go, "Hey, Chief, could you knock it off already? Please, enough with this, you know?" But, you know, you get people that, look, if there's something to complain about, you're going to find somebody to lodge the complaint.
Oh,
It's as simple as that. And
People
it's
love it.
education is where it comes into play. Okay. You got to educate the public. When you go to put out a drone program, especially on the law enforcement side, here are the parameters in which we're going to use the drone.
Right.
Pure and simple. Okay. And that's the way you have to approach it. Look, I think I missed the boat because right now, New York City Fire Department robotics team is making so much overtime. I'm surprised half of them aren't going to retire at the end of the next year because they started this shark watch down in Far Rockaways a year ago. Now it's no longer sharks. Now it's riptides. So they're flying M30Ts and using this product called rest tube. So what a rest tube is, it's a personal flotation device. Mm-hmm. So basically it's hung from below the M30T. They go out, somebody caught in a riptide, they release it. The second it hits the water, okay, it's got the CO2 canister in it. It blows up to basically a 3.5 foot flotation device that 2 people actually could hang on to. Nice. And once it's dropped, it's inflated, they grab onto it, then you effect the rescue.
That's cool.
So
that's cool, though.
And they're operating 7 days a week now. So it's not the regular robotics team that's operating because those individuals are needed to respond to second alarm fires and greater in New York in the 5 boroughs. So it's additional members that are trained and are working this beach detail. I mean, how much better does it get?
So this gets back to a potential DJI drone ban. You just said they're flying M30Ts. Okay,
absolutely.
So if they can't do that, what happens then? Somebody's going to lose their life in a riptide, right? Because there's not going to be a drone to drop a. It just drives me.
Well, I've been saying it for a long time, and Johnny, you and I have talked about this. I equate drones for first responders to be as important a tool as a hearse tool, the jaws of life.
Yeah.
Okay. Once you realize the potential of this product, there's no going back from it.
It's invaluable. Okay. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not a crowbar, that's for sure.
No. And to me, taking away from us is like taking the yaks away, taking the irons away from a firefighter. I mean, the ability to see all your members operating on the scene, especially on a smoky roof as you're trying to vent it. Okay. And this nonsense about if security was the real issue, why was there a 5-year phase in? I mean, if cybersecurity is the real issue, why wouldn't you just draw the line in the sand?
Right.
Because what you need to do is you need to set security standards, okay, that are met by everyone.
Absolutely.
Including U.S. drones. Hey, the people who leaked my latest financial data was a goddamn U.S. company. Okay? It wasn't the Chinese. I'm more worried about who I'm giving my credit card or social security number to.
Hey, Ticketmaster had a breach the other day, so, Joe Fodoleo, when you bought your Swifty tickets,
Yeah. There you go. Look, the pharmacy.
I got daughters.
You're looking at the companies that back end all the mail order pharmacies just got breached, And we're not even talking about the CrowdStrike thing that happened the other day. Somebody definitely lost their job on that one. But I got 3 calls on that alone. 3 people on the job called me and said the same thing. Aren't you glad you retired? Absolutely.
One line of code. That's all.
Look, and that's the problem, Marcus. You have to let things bake. I'm one of those people who have learned the hard way, unfortunately. I wait 24 to 48 hours before any firmware gets applied to anything I own. Okay? Let others suffer the pain first.
Let me tell you the other thing that gets me about that whole thing, though, because I was in logistics my whole life, and one of the things that I was really good at was some of the automated systems that were coming into play. But we always had backups. We had backup plans. If the system went down, we had ways we could go to paper. We could still get the trucks on the road. We could still deliver the milk. We could do all of that. It seems like that has just disappeared. Clearly, the airlines don't do that.
No. You know this, Johnny. People forget how to use those old systems. because there's so much reliance. I mean, you look at dispatch systems on public safety side, right? We used to use the cards, and they would go down a chute and go to the right dispatch, and you pick it up and announce the job and put it in a little holder, and that's 20-year-old, 25-year-old technology. It doesn't exist anymore. Okay, so when they have to fall back on something, what do you fall back on? So what we did on the job was we ran drills every so many quarters, okay, where we would interrupt the system and see what the reaction time was, okay? But you have these systems that get put in now that are so complex and convoluted. Trying to figure out which end is up or what went wrong is really the bigger problem. So the big thing that we did, the job was, there were approximately 4,000 to 5,000 attempted hacks per day. Okay. And NYPD was worse. NYPD was twice, if not 3 times that number. So we had isolated or sandbox systems, air gap systems that you relied on for dispatch. And then the information that was fed through another conduit of systems, layered systems. And when there were patches to go out, those patches had to incubate X number of days, depending on severity levels. But then you get these companies like CrowdStrike. Everybody depends on CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike is coming out with what's called that 0-day threat.
Right.
So they're coming out with a patch for something that hasn't hit the environment yet. Okay. Right. Well, when that gets released, they're expecting you to apply it immediately. And that's what happened here. I mean, you still have Delta Airlines that's having problems as a result of that.
Tom, how many thermal drones did y'all have thermal drones? A lot of thermal drones, or was that only
thermal?
Okay, everything you had.
Everything is either, the lowest of the low would be the Mavic 3 Enterprise.
Gotcha.
Okay, thermal. And then everything above that is normally, the M30T is the best purpose-built first responder drone ever made. Okay. Then from there, you go to the Matrice level. And at the Matrice level, then you have various payloads. And you always have a thermal on one of those payloads. Gotcha. A Matrice 300 series can handle 3 different payloads.
Yeah, because I know you showed that
definitely going to throw a thermal on.
You showed that thermal of the, I think was it a junkyard of the fire?
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty interesting, and I know. So
it
helps you put out the
think
fire,
about
right?
it. Well,
Johnny, I got to jump off here. I've been summoned inside. I'll be listening.
Okay, thank you, Joe.
Take care, Joe. Good seeing you, brother. So you think about it. A junkyard fire is one big hazardous material situation, right? So you go in and something is smoldering, and your only course of action is to forklift each and every car and try to put water on it. Well, you get 1,000 cars in a junkyard, and that's a 2-3 day extended operation. And by the time you're done, you have this huge lagoon of toxic waste.
Yeah.
And how many individuals that are potentially contaminated. You throw up a thermal imaging drone, you can immediately identify the hotspot. You can get water on it right away, extinguish it, and take up 20 minutes later.
Yeah.
So that
it's saving time and money and manpower. It's just saving everything. There's nothing you can say bad about that, so.
No, the real tell for us was when we put firefighters up on roofs to, vent OVs, outside vent members. And of course, that's one exposure you can't see from the ground. Now, you don't know what your members are experiencing up there on the roof. And there's probably, in our environment, there'd be 3 or 4 OVs operating on a series of roofs and an officer up there, and it's all smoke covered. But you throw the thermal imaging drone up, you can see each and every one of them. But more importantly, you could see the heat signatures below the roof line. And if you needed to, based on that information, you could evacuate your members from that area before they became victims.
Well,
right?
Hey, it's all about education. And I know even going back to the y'all meet up there in Vegas, that's going to be, if you get kids involved and, You got the, so much going on that it's all about education and people, they still, I think they're scared of, and Marcus, we talk about it all the time. It's just a camera in the sky, and that's just frightful for so many people,
Mm-hmm.
But Johnny, we're all ambassadors.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Whenever I hear somebody even walk by and throw a passing comment my way, I'm like, oh, you want to see what's on the screen? Yeah. I'll share this. Yeah, take a look. When we were up at Lee Canyon on Monday, I threw the drone up and I got some, a beautiful pano shot. 3 people walked by and said, it must be a great view from up there. And I said, well, come over, take a look. And now these are 3 people I've never known before.
Mm-hmm.
They came over. Now they have a different view of what this product can do. Okay. We're going to run into the Karens. There's no doubt about it. It's also how we handle it. It's how we
Johnny, I
handle
got to jump.
Also.
All right,
I got to run to the store, buddy. I'll catch you guys later. Take care, everyone.
Thank you, Matty.
Good seeing you, Matty.
Well, drones can be used for good. They can be used for bad. We all know that. But, it is about education. I know, Marcus, you've been doing it a long time, John now, and Tom. But, hey, it like you say, we're an ambassador, and when we can get the word out, hey, that's what it is about. And, I know Ray and I show we love to – it's all about the kids and stuff. But, you get the same questions from everybody. How much does it cost? How far does it go? How fast is it? How high will it go? I mean, it's the typical questions that – you probably would ask if you didn't know about it. It's just the same.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And, it's even more important when you have I've had police roll up on me and ask me, hey, what are you up to? And I'm like, oh, come over, take a look.
Right.
I don't run in fear when law enforcement approaches me. I've been in that game too long.
No, yep.
Okay.
No
know how to speak to them, be respectful. Explain what you're doing and why you're doing it.
What they are is they're people doing a job, just like we used to do. That's what they are. They're people doing a job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would say, just from the community, I don't know if y'all would agree, but it seems like the cops or the police are always nice to people they pull up most of the time. But I say park rangers or people in that kind of or different. It seems like they're a little tougher than police.
A frustrated wannabe is always more difficult to deal with.
Well, I don't. We were on a motorcycle trip. I guess, man, it was one of my first trips, and a guy had I guess at the time, I don't even know. It might have been it probably was like a Phantom 3 maybe or the 2. I don't even know, but it was a Phantom style drone, and that's the first time I ever saw a drone. And actually, we were out in Colorado somewhere. I'm not really sure where at, on $1 million highway out there. And there was a ranger and he pulled up and he told the guy, he really didn't tell him to stop flying, but he basically said he wasn't supposed to be flying. And it wasn't, it was him, his wife, and about 4 motorcycles. I don't know what he could have been hurting. And I had really no education about it then. But anyway, and I think he's told him to go ahead and finish his flight and, just put the drone away. So, but that was my first experience. First time I ever saw a drone. And, he took my phone number and was supposed to send me some video, but he never did. But that's the first time. But those guys seem like, and around the community, you seem like people, I know, Al Searcher on there shooting a hotel. Those guys at the security told him he wasn't supposed to be shooting a hotel. And
private security is usually difficult to deal with. Yeah. I had a situation in Red Rock. We were in one of the parking areas on the Scenic Drive loop, and I'm sitting on the tailgate of the truck, and I was flying the first Tabata, and I had the goggles on, and the wife is sitting next to me, okay? And this lady walking across the parking lot is, you're not allowed to fly here. You're not allowed to. And my wife knows the routine. My wife turned to her and said, if you want to stick around, once my husband lands, he'll talk to you. Oh, I don't think you should be flying here. Oh, good. Look at who's coming, the Rangers. So my wife says to me as I'm flying, because I'm already headed back now and I can see the parking lot area, and I see one of the Ranger trucks is pulling in, and he's pulling right next to us, right? So my wife is this going to be a problem? And I'm like, nah, don't worry about it. Don't worry. So I'm bringing it in, and I hand caught the drone. And the Ranger gets out of the vehicle and he walks over, and the lady yells at him, Good. He's not allowed to fly here. And the ranger goes, oh, yeah, he can fly here. No problem. And I pull up the goggles and he says to me, is that the new Avata? Is that the new Avata? And I went, yeah. You want to check it out? He goes, oh, absolutely. Oh, she walked off in a huff.
Yeah.
She didn't want to hear anything at that point. Okay. So, I mean, you get it. There's a wide spectrum to deal with.
And Morgan, where you fly out there, I mean, that's all Class G airspace. So you've never had a problem with anybody.
I actually have had a couple situations, and it was all in Class G airspace. One out of Tanya and I were flying at a local park, and this woman is riding back and forth on the bicycle, and we were focused on flying our drones, and we just landed them, and she said, "I called the cops. You two are going to jail." and so sure enough, I don't know, probably 5 minutes later, a Boise police pulls up and he parks right by where my truck was. He didn't even get out of his car. He didn't talk to us anything. He looked and could see we weren't doing anything. He just took off. Anyway,
Stevie, welcome in.
And the other one was it was actually before I had my Part 107. I was at another local park, a bike park. I was flying the original Mavic Mini, and a guy came up to me and just started reading me the riot act, accusing me of flying over people and all that. And, well, there's nobody here. What are you doing? You know, it was like really early in the morning. Anyway, the guy just was reading me the riot act, and he pulls this card out of his wallet. And he sticks it in my face. You know what this is? He was a Part 107. You know.
Oh boy!
And I said, "Well, I got a hobby license." I said, "You know." He goes, "You guys are giving us a bad name." I'm going, dude. I said, "I'm going to give you a bad name. You don't get out of my face. I'm dialing 911 right now." So, and by the way, what's the FAA going to say about you harassing me while I have a drone in the air?
While you're flying?
Yeah, while you're flying.
Well,
right.
we're some of our own worst enemies. Okay, we really are. I mean, you know, we have. I think we've probably by now have deputized over 10,000 drone police officers in this country. Or at least it seems on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
We don't control, we troll.
Yeah, exactly.
John, what about you? Any problems where you fly, John? You ever had a problem?
I had at one of the local parks, I was flying and I had a park ranger come up and say, "Oh, you can't fly here." And I just, explained to him, well, yeah, actually I can. I mean, I'm Part 107, and I showed him, I brought the drone down, showed him it was in a controlled airspace, showed him I had the approval. He says, well, you can't take off here from the park. So the sidewalk was over about 15 feet inside. So I said, oh, so you don't have any problem with me taking off over on the side? Nope, that's okay. You can go ahead and do it. So I pick up the drone and take off from the sidewalk. So, like Tom said, I think sometimes park rangers like that, they're the toughest to deal with because they
can get
this is the way it is, and
I think they've just been told, no drones, don't worry about the rules, just no drones,
Right.
Well,
right.
I'll just flip that coin right over. Everybody talks about what a-holes the Army Corps of Engineers is. Well, I didn't know any better. I was flying up at Lucky Peak Reservoir, Class G airspace. I was fine, and flying off of a open area over the reservoir, not really bothering anything. This guy pulls up and he goes, "Hey, I'm so-and-so with the Army Corps of Engineers." And he says, he goes, "You really can't fly here without a permit," And I said, "Man, holy cow. I've been flying here for years, And he goes, "Yeah, I know." But he said, "You got to have a permit." Coolest guy. We talked about drones for about probably a half an hour. He gave me his email address. He said, "Just apply for a permit here." I did. I had a permit the next day, and been just renewing that permit every year since. Totally cool. I mean,
is it a call? Do you have to pay anything for the permit, Marcus?
No. They just want to know. And he even told me, he goes, "Listen," he goes, "you don't need to ask me permission to fly, but we just want to know when you're going to fly so that we know what's going." Because, for instance, they do have wildfire. Sometimes they'll have aircraft flying over to scoop up water and so forth. Yeah. And so they want to know if there's going to be drones out there or not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, we have a guy here who's actually part of our. We have a technical drone meeting up at the Arts Center once a month, and Charlie
Chris,
works
thank
for
you, Chris.
Nevada. He works for Nevada Energy, and he gave us all the phone number to call just when we're flying within 200 feet of their power lines. He said, "You're not calling to ask for permission. You're just calling to give us a heads up." And then he went further into it in a follow-up meeting where he turned around and said, listen, the reason we want you to call us is in case we do have a problem with the grid someplace, we can know that, this was probably caused by a drone. We know where the drone was operating. He says, because we're not asking you, to ask us for permission. We're just asking you to give us a heads up.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes sense. It makes sense. Absolutely.
I'm more than happy to do those kind of things. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's part of being a good citizen.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Marcus, I know if you got a call to go, search for somebody or even an animal, a dog, a horse, or whatever. I mean, I think
Johnny,
we all do
can I
that.
get a BVLOS waiver if I do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Depends on where. Absolutely. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Hey, I see a lot of people. I mean, it seems like on Facebook or just different, you see a lot of people getting waivers to fly over people. It seems like it's a
process.
A lot of that last few days.
It's a process, Johnny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a process. Look, basically it's kind of cookie cutter at this point. And that's what the FAA wanted. Basically here's a template. As long as you answer these questions, okay, and provide reasonable proof of how you're operating, we'll give you the waiver.
Yeah. You still got to follow the rules about over people with
absolutely.
So a lot of people just think look fly a normal drone. You got to have the prop guard, the duck guards, and
look at the guys from Pilot Institute. They got a BVLOS waiver.
Yeah.
Okay. By clearly stating, hey, here's where we'll be operating. Here's how we're operating, and here's what we're doing. It all comes down to these things. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? And how are you mitigating the risks? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's all it comes down to. That's all they really want to know.
Yeah,
pretty basic stuff.
And it's pretty basic. It's pretty basic. And if you have a need to do it, it makes sense to put in for it. And these waivers last a pretty long period of time.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, some of them's like 2 and 3 years.
Yeah, some of them you can get multiple years on, and even locations. If you normally fly in a location. Like over here by Henderson Executive Airport, if I need to fly where there's, I'm right adjacent to the airport because of a construction project, I can put in a request and have a long-term waiver for that location. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Johnny, you've got one for your local airport, don't you?
I have a 2-year waiver from the FAA about just some sunrise flights. I still, of course, I know the guys at Ottawa, they don't want you calling Ottawa anymore, but I'm good to. Actually, it was 200 feet. I can go to 400 feet here, but I still now and then I see one of the guys that works at Ottawa, and he'll even ask me, "Miss Johnny, you still flying?" I say, "Yeah," but my waiver was for 2 years. So
yeah. People have to realize the FAA is not into law enforcement; they're regulatory.
Sure.
And when we blame the FAA for some of these regulations, we're misguided. It's not the FAA. It's Congress.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Congress is the one who turns around and goes, we don't like this or we don't like that. So now regulate it. And what I was going to say before, Johnny, you had said, well, what do you do on the public safety side if they ban the best drone on the market? Well, my problem is that Drone for First Responder Act, okay, to me was obscene because it basically said, hey, we're going to fund first responder drone programs by adding tariffs.
Yeah.
Okay, to the Chinese drones. Well, the drone you're trying to ban would be the highest selling drone. And now you're going to ban it. So where are the tariffs money coming from? Okay.
Well,
so it's like a catch-22. Yeah. Not only that, and I've said this numerous times, where did all the money from the lottery programs go that was supposed to go to education, or the marijuana, the cannabis sales that was supposed to go to education? But we still have the worst school systems in the world, right? But you could potentially win Mega Million for $1.2 billion, but that's okay.
Yeah. Well,
It makes
it's.
no sense.
I think we're gonna be. I think we're gonna be okay on what it seems like.
It's 20. Remember, that's a 2025 NDAA. There'll be a 2026 NDAA.
Yep.
Okay. It all depends on what the complexion of Congress is and the Senate the next time the appropriation comes in. But this clearly shows you how much minutia they shoehorn into these bills. The NDAA is a rubber stamp. It's going to be approved. So how much bullshit can we shove in there?
Right.
And have it stick?
Yeah. You probably don't want to know all the stuff that's in there.
No, you don't.
One Eye in the Sky is asking you, going to be in Vegas from the 13th to the 16th. I guess he's talking about August. Looking for some good places to fly. Can you recommend some? So yeah, I'm sure you can recommend.
Absolutely. I mean, depending on weather, and weather is the big factor here. Okay. Definitely, I would say Red Rock Canyon. I'd say Mount Charleston are great spots. Some of the local parks in the Henderson area provide great skyline imagery. There's Seven Magic Mountains, which is just south on the Strip. And there's a huge dry lake bed called Jean Dry Lake Bed. So those are great places. My recommendation is, first and foremost, hydrate. Okay? Hydrate. The number one tip I can give trying to fly in this weather. The other thing is I own 5 batteries for every drone I own. No less than 5 batteries, okay? And one of the reasons I do that is like on the Avata. So I'm going to get 15 minutes flight time on in Avata, being as aggressive as I want to be, right? But honestly, in weather like this, 110-degree weather, I'm only going to go for 5 or 6 minutes on a battery. I'm never going to go below 50% on a battery when temperatures are above 104 degrees. Because the more you deplete the battery, the more heat that's built up, right? And, battery failure results directly from excessive heat.
In 03 air units, they get, that's an 04, but they get hot.
Yeah,
they get hot.
They get hot. But so I'll only fly down to 50%. Also, I'll let that battery, cool off in an air-conditioned car before I try to charge it. But I can usually get several hours of flying in that way because I can rotate the batteries. The other thing is that I keep my, it's not so much of a problem for me, but I've noticed, especially when I was in New York with the humidity, as a photographer, you take your camera out of an air-conditioned car out into the heat, and your lens fogs up right away.
Yeah.
So my advice is I keep my drones in a Ziploc bag. And when I take them out, I leave them sealed in the Ziploc bag. I take them out into the environment. And about 2 or 3 minutes later, you'll see some condensation build up on the bag itself. Once that occurs, you can open up the bag and take out the drone.
But your lens, I know when I just go from the air conditioner to sit on the front porch, I gotta, Hey, Tom, you use the word hydrate. Do you know who Stale Cracker is?
No.
Well, you need to look up Stale Cracker. Just look it up.
Stale Cracker? Okay.
Yeah, he's a state trooper here in Louisiana who has a channel. But you need to.
Oh yeah, I got to look him up. I got to write that down.
He's pretty. He's cool. He does.
I'm getting old, Johnny. I don't remember half the shit you tell me.
But no. Hey guys, we've been on a little over an hour, and I want to thank everybody. Marcus, thank you for we've talked a little bit this afternoon. Say, hey, let's go live. It seems like everybody, there was no Fly for Fun show.
Yeah.
Herman and Lawrence were doing a job. Bill Thomas,
I saw that.
Bill is. I'm not sure why he didn't do a show. Didn't see anything from
Bobo or something, isn't he?
Oh, is he on vacation? Okay,
I think he might be. Yeah,
we'd go live. Captain Ray is out in California visiting his son, so I need to talk to him. I'm gonna call him tomorrow. Let him get there. I think he got up very early. I think it was Monday morning. He left like at 2 or 3 in the morning, so he had a long day. So, John, thanks for hopping in. And guys, hey, Fly for Fun show next Wednesday. We're just gonna show nothing but videos. Get me your videos. We'll show videos and appreciate the viewers. That's what our show is always about. And Marcus, Drone Seekers Sunday, you'll be on that, of course.
Yep. At let's see what it would be at 2 p.m. your time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, 1 p.m. my time, noon Pacific.
Drone Nation Monday night. So, catch up with everybody. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And hey, everybody have a great rest of your Wednesday.
Good night.
VegasDroneMeetup.com, guys. VegasDroneMeetup.com. Come out and
already
join
got
us.
my room.